I love you. We didn't do a sentence.
We didn't do a sentence.
We do one now?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Porcupines.
Eat
My.
petunias.
Every.
Tuesday.
Which.
Bothers
Me.
sorely.
Nice. There you go. That's typically what we do before we start recording, everybody. We come up with a little 10-word back and forth sentence. I'm the Green Traveler from Gosh. Our worst opening.
I am the Faceless Leon. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. That's your line. This is a podcast about movies and TV. It's called Green and Faceless on the Couch, and that's my line.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We did it.
Welcome.
And this has been a Green Faceless on the Couch. Thanks for joining us.
Safe travels
we've made
and
that
good
joke
night.
before. No, yeah, we've done that before. That's nothing new.
Well,
Oh,
we already made the worst opening
ever.
ever, so what does it matter?
Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, we are here to talk about the Penguin. The Penguin. It's only fair. We talked Marvel last week. It's only fair. We talked DC this week. We're obligated contractually.
And before we talk about the Penguin, I just want to, put a shout out to our listeners in the States to say Happy Thanksgiving. Please enjoy your holiday and hopefully get with some people that you are thankful to be around. And,
Can I tell you what I'm thankful for?
What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for our patrons down at patreon.com/greenandfaceless.
Yeah, me too. They're pretty great. They do some pretty great things. And you know what I'm thankful for?
What's that?
I'm thankful for the
greenie.
few... What? You called me
I said,
greenie?
what's that? I said, what's that, Greenie? And I was like, wait, I'm Greenie.
I'm thankful for the handful of donors that we have gotten down at GoFundMe.com/F/WMTS fundraiser, where people can help us take our film to festivals. We got a long way to go on our goal.
We've made a couple of strides, though.
Yeah, it will be aired around the world, actually. No, not aired, excuse me. It's been submitted around the world. That's what I should say, because it hasn't been selected yet.
Someone around the world will see it, though.
Someone around the world will see it.
And that's pretty damn cool.
It's been submitted to In the Palace, which is in Bulgaria. It's the Rabat International Authors Festival, which is in Morocco. And I think there's one in London and Manchester that we have applied to. And I thought there was one in the States that I had already had squared away.
If we're able to go to any of them, I would request going to London so that I can disappear to Brighton and live there forever.
So I did remember the place that it's going to be, that it has been sent, and that is Indy. There's an Indianapolis festival, which is a pretty important one, apparently.
Just a corn-fed boy.
Living in a corny corn.
Oh my goodness. Well, but thank you everybody for your donations. Thank you patrons for your contributions.
Yes.
And thank you listeners for just listening. We love you all.
Yeah. I'm also grateful for the fact that we do this, because it keeps us hanging out. And
that's true.
Yeah.
And eventually we have made talks about extending it into like a Let's Play, maybe, like where we would play video games. That. If that interests you, let us know. We would love to do that.
And also, if you think it would be interesting, let us know. A long time ago, I pitched Green and Faceless in Armchairs, which would be a book club, a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And
that'd be lovely.
Yeah, that could be fun. And I like
Green and Faceless in armchairs by the fireplace in a cabin.
Yeah,
by the lake.
It'll make me read more. That'd be good.
All right, let's get into it. Let's talk the Pengy.
The Pengy. So we are bringing the bird to the table. The penguin.
Yeah, everybody else is serving up turkey. We're serving up penguin. Go fuck yourself. That's right.
We're going to carve it up with Colin Farrell.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he's just fucking amazing in this. It's
sexiest man alive somehow becomes ugliest, most horrible individual you can imagine on TV.
Yeah. You know what? I thought they were going to explain the scar, and they never explained the scar.
They never explained the scar. That's okay. That's for a possible season 2.
For a possible season 2.
If you remember, back in 2022, 2 amazingly long years ago, we talked the Batman, and we loved the Batman. Rob Pat's Batman, that is. It was a phenomenal event for both of us. We quite enjoyed it. I think it made both of our best of the year lists, and this is just continuing right off the bat. This is just like, I think, a couple weeks after the events of the Batman, which, spoilers if you haven't watched the Batman, Carmine Falcone gets killed by the Riddler.
Kind of the impetus of this whole thing.
It's crazy, man. It was a big moment. It was amazing. It was so cool. And that death was so mind-blowing that it even changed who Carmine Falcone is in the past. He miraculously just becomes Mark Strong instead of John Turturro. But that's okay, you know?
I knew it was Mark Strong, but I was like, I didn't think it was Mark Strong in the movie.
Yeah.
I really was expecting John Turturro's face, and that's because it was John Turturro. Okay.
It's so weird. John Turturro apparently didn't want to be involved in the flashback scenes where Carmine Falcone is utilized in this show, because he didn't like the violence against women and didn't want to correlate that, which I would understand if you weren't an actor, and portraying that stuff on screen helps bring the message of how awful it is across. Sure.
But maybe he's just not comfortable being in a scene.
That's fair, but that's all his character was in the Batman. Like, yeah. I don't understand it was a weird excuse, but at the same time, he's allowed to turn things down. That's his right. But it was weird. It's the only real change. Everybody else kind of carries over that's utilized from the movie. Specifically, as we've already mentioned, Colin Farrell as Oz Cobb, the Penguin.
Yes, Oz Cobb.
Amazing. Yeah. Phenomenal.
So, so the Penguin in the comics is Oswald Cobblepot. And he's descended from an old ruined family with money from the good old days of Gotham. Gotham. But in this, he's a street kid.
He's Tony Soprano.
Yeah, it's a completely different look at the character. And it honestly makes a lot more sense. Like, who cares that this rich kid became a gangster? Who cares?
Right.
But this guy, he's trying to make a name for himself. He worked his way. Yeah. Yeah. And you can appreciate that as somebody who works hard in your life, even though he's doing some heinous shit.
I know. No. Hey, that was the thing is he is a horrendous human being. We find that out in flashbacks. We find that out through his actions in the present. Yeah. He betrays everybody around him. He cares only for himself.
Feels very penguin-y to me for some reason.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. Like he is just despicable in every way. And yet there's this quality to him. There's this like dirty charisma that just kind of works its way under your skin, and you kind of are just like, I like this guy. You know, it's like, I know he's doing bad things, but it's such a Donald Trump style of quality that it's just like, I do not like, no offense to anybody out there, I am not a Trumper. I do not agree with the man. No. But the Penguin is very similar of a character in that he commits all these horrible atrocities. He says all of these dirty things. He never shuts up. His mouth is always running. And yet, for whatever reason, people are always backing this dude in this show. And there's so many people who watch this show that will still walk away and love his character.
Yeah, he's a talker. He knows how to talk people into things, manipulate people. And
which Trump doesn't have that ability, but somehow it works. Well, I don't know.
I think though, what we're with Trump, it's there's somebody I think pointing in the direction that like they're not necessarily telling him what to do, because you can't tell Trump what to do, but I think they're pointing him in a direction and say go.
It's like that pig race show that you turned me on to and on YouTube. They lead him to the starting line in a box.
There's food at the end. There's a Diet Coke at the end.
A Diet Coke and a Big Mac at one end, and then they take the gate off, and he's just like, oh God, and he like starts running towards it, and then they put a microphone in front of him, and he's just like, tariffs, immigrants, give me the Big Mac, come on. That was more. That's more Joe Biden than anything. All right. The penguin's not exact. Like, that's not a great metaphor. Him and Donald Trump, but you see what I'm saying. There are qualities that they share, but Oz Cobb has such a more odd appeal. Like, it's really gross, but he's a villain. You're not at all rooting for him, but at the same time, it makes for great entertainment to watch him work his way up this crime ladder, pitting the Falcones versus the Maronis, or the Mr. Krabbies as we call them.
Yeah,
as you call them.
So is it Lawrence Brown or Clarence Brown? Clarence, I think. Clancy Brown, thank you. He plays Salvatore Maroni, Sal Maroni, who is the head of the Maroni crime family.
Maroni Falcone.
He also plays Mr. Krabs, if you didn't know.
He's the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Yes.
That's awesome.
He's fantastic human being, I think, from what I've seen at least. But these were also interviews done for kids' TV. So
this just in: Clancy Brown murders 10.
But if I'm not mistaken, wasn't his first thing Highlander? Yep, he was the other immortal guy that the Highlander fought, named Kurgan.
Yeah, he was also in the Shawshank Redemption.
But I guess that wasn't his first thing. His first thing was called The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Buckaroo Banzai?
Across the Eighth Dimension. We gotta watch this movie. What is this?
Hey, while we're talking about movies we gotta watch, I've been informed by a good friend that we need to watch this movie called Frankenhooker. I haven't looked into it, but that's what I was recommended.
Back to
Mr. Krabs. He leads the Maroni family. He's in jail currently. Mm-hmm. There was a big bust, I think, in the Batman movie, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I don't know. Who fucking knows anymore.
The Falcones manipulated it to happen, though.
Whap, whap. Yeah. And the Falcones are currently being led by nobody. Carmine's basically dead, so there's a lot of people vying for the title.
Though, is Alberto.
Oops.
So, you know what? It took me a really long time, because he's a drastically different character, to recognize this actor. But he does play the husband/ex-husband in The Wonderful Mrs. Maisel, which is a show that I do. The Marvelous. Thank you. What did I say?
Wonderful.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Her adjective is far superior, Blake. Please.
It's about a
I never watched
female comedian, as they would say back then, a comedian.
Comedian? That's with an E-N-N-E.
Yeah, it's not great.
Let's get rid of gender norms, guys.
Yeah, which we did.
Stop saying actors and actresses. Just say actors.
Yeah, I like it. And they got rid of that one. They're just comedians. But until very recently, women couldn't go on tour together.
Jesus.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, that we couldn't draw enough of an audience with 2 female comedians.
Makes sense.
Makes so much sense.
No, there's a lot of people vying for the Falcone leads. As you mentioned, though, Alberto was the heir apparent until the penguin shoots him.
Yeah, so, honestly, Oz gets caught trying to steal some shit. Really.
Yeah.
And he's like, here, I was actually getting this for you before somebody else, looted the house or something.
I'm not working for Mr. Krabs.
What? And I don't think he was at the time. But he did give him over the diamonds, but kept all the blackmail info and stuff that Carmine had. And Alberto and him sit down, have some drinks, even though Alberto is alcoholic. They're talking and shooting the shit. And then Oz gets really sentimental. Probably the most real that he gets in the whole movie, really. And Alberto laughs at him. And just on impulse, Oz shoots him in between the eyes.
Oz tells him about his dreams. Oz tells him how he wants to be this big name and big shot in the.
But he's known for helping people.
Yeah, the crime business. But nope. Yeah, he gets pissed off by Alberto's reaction and sends him 6 feet under. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's right. The first thing that he says after that, after a laugh, is fuck. because he's like,
he just saw the entire season stretching out before him, and he was like, God damn, these episodes are all an hour long, and there's 8 of them. Oh my God, I'm fucked.
Yeah, but it is really interesting how this character is so adaptive. That's his greatest skill, is that he can see a spin off of anything and be like, okay, if I do this, that will help this other thing that I already got a ball rolling for.
And he really, he plans ahead. He really plays 3-dimensional chess.
That's right.
And
he uses this as an opportunity instead of really freaking out, which he does at first. He's going to flee, but actually his mom, Frances, is the one who persuades him not to. And that he needed to use this.
Yeah, Deirdre O'Connell.
Thank you. She does great, too.
She's pretty good. Yeah, she suffers from, I'm reading here, Parkinson's, and you later find out in the show she has Lewy body dementia.
They, if I recall correctly, I think this might be in the second or last episode, Oz says they don't even know what the hell she has.
Yeah, that's true. But that's usually the case with Lewy body, too.
I see.
Yeah, usually you don't realize until after they're dead that there's...
what's
I can't
the
remember
cause
what they
or
call
something.
it. Yeah. But yeah, as she's suffering from dementia, it's pretty racking. You watch both, not only the Penguin deal with it, but also Vic, who is his protege. He brings Victor Aguilar, played by Renzi Feliz, who's amazing. He brings him on as his kind of sidekick.
He has a stutter, and I think we're supposed to believe that that's what endears him to Oz, because Oz has a bad leg and limps, and that's where he gets the name Penguin from. And he also has a horrible scar across his face, so he knows what it is to be different, for people to think of you differently because of a disability, really. And so he took pity on him and had him help him dispose of Alberto's body.
He really incriminates poor Vic immediately. But as you watch him though throughout the entire show, you watch him just instill Vic with this motivation to he empowers him. Yeah. And as again, we talked about this before when we talked One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's pretty much a similar story where it's like you have this despicable man helping this other individual, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a lot of individuals, find the importance of themselves, find the self-empowerment and everything. And it's still a good story, but at the same time, it doesn't quite do everything to endear you to the main character in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Here, however, it's the only redeemable quality for a penguin for most of this show.
Vic is the only good thing. I mean, he has this thing with a sex worker named Eve. And at first you're like, oh, maybe this is another good thing that he has. But he uses her in so many different ways. Like,
as the show goes on, all of any type of redeemable quality that he has gets completely destroyed. With Eve, with his mother, who, like, you're like, oh, you know, he has this strong attachment to his mom. It's a little weird, but, you know, it's like, it's kind of endearing. He loves his mother. And then you go into his backstory and you see his childhood and what he does to his brothers. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah, we're going to leave that there, I think, though, because...
Yeah, he's got her trapped, man.
Because it's... well, so, like, they really do, you know... They play up that, something happened to his brothers, and Oz was somehow involved, but Oz never puts on that, you know, he has any intention for that thing to happen. It's really interesting, I think, the way it folds out. It's not the most original scene, I don't think.
No.
But
that's the thing, is a lot of this show doesn't feel that original. But it's still,
I think, altogether phenomenal.
Original. Yeah, there's a lot of Sopranos vibes and story arcs and
a lot of
any kind of mob show.
Homages, a lot of homage. Yeah. Carmen, this is just a guess. I found the actor's name for Eve Carlo. Carmen Ejogo. Ejogo, I think. But I don't know. But she was, I think, a really interesting side character.
Yeah, she's not bad.
Yeah, well, I particularly liked her interaction with Sophia.
Yeah, that's the last big name we got to talk about.
Yeah. Sophia Falcone, who goes by her mother's maiden name later in the film, Gigante. She is played by Christine Milioti,
who I remember as being the mom in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
Which, when she appeared in How I Met Your Mother, I was like, oh my god, she's the most beautiful woman alive. And then I kind of forgot about her. And then she reappeared as Sofia Gigante. I'm like, oh my god, that's right. She's the most beautiful woman alive.
She's gorgeous. And she, you know, that's not what her character is, you know.
Yeah, crazy different than her character in the comics, because a lot of this Batman universe is based off of the Long Halloween story arcs by Jeff Loeb. They're some of the best comic books ever, but like the Batman had a lot of input, that's not the right word I want, inspiration from the Long Halloween, and it carried over to this show. Because Sofia Gigante is a big character in those comics. And by that, I mean she's big. She's a beefy girl. She is muscular like crazy, and she can go toe-to-toe with the Batman.
Did they take a nod at that at some point in the film? Because I thought she said something about her being chunky as a kid.
Maybe. I don't remember that, but yeah, it's possible. But like,
Kristen
Milioti is... so different. She so brilliant.
I don't know that she has ever been considered chunky. Probably. I'm not gonna. I haven't seen her, you know, throughout her life, but she's a pretty thin lady.
Oh my god, she's brilliant here. Like she was falsely sent to Arkham Asylum by her father, as we find out. To cover up her father's...
Oz had some involvement.
Yeah, Oz had involvement in it. Her father had some despicable skeletons in his closet that he decided to just pin on his daughter. And go ahead and just toss her in the insane asylum for
over 10 years.
Fucking wild. She was treated to electroshock therapy and like that kind of stuff, or whatever it's called. It's not... I don't think it was electroshock therapy.
She did have electroshock therapy.
Okay, is that the right? Okay.
Yeah, from one of the
crazy doctors.
Yeah, one of the doctors who just enjoys torturing these people who need help. But that's not how Julian Rush is. And Julian Rush is a doctor there as well. And he becomes her personal psychiatrist. Yeah, after she is able to leave the asylum, which I guess was by his help. Then they start dating after she takes over the Falcone family. He's like, "You are so powerful. I just want to be a part of it.
I want to be a part of you. A part of it. Part of your power. Part of you. Oh my God." He's played by Theo Rossi, who I remember him as Shades in Luke Cage. Yeah. I don't remember what else I remember him from, though.
Remembering him from.
But yeah, he's pretty creepy. A lot of people think he's the Scarecrow. There's a lot of good evidence for that, and I like that idea because he seems like a very grounded, insane doctor for this grounded Batman universe. But as Sofia Gigante makes her bid for the head of the Falcone family, that is the most fascinating. Like, this whole show is interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But Kristen Milioti as Sofia Gigante is the best.
Definitely. Like, if Colin Farrell wasn't so goddamn good, she would have stolen this show.
Right. Yeah. That's the problem, is Colin Farrell disappears so much into OzCom. Oh my God.
It was the first episode, like, you know, they had that, like, newsreel that was kind of unnecessary a little bit. At the very beginning. But that was, like, the only thing that I thought was an unnecessary ad. Like, I do feel like that we needed to understand that the Batman movie happened and what happened in the Batman movie without talking about everything that happened in the Batman movie.
Yeah, without, like, a 20-minute recap.
Yeah.
For 2 hour, 40-minute movie.
There's better ways to do that, but that's a nitpick. Anyhow, as soon as I saw him walking out of that elevator into the penthouse, swaying back and forth, I was like, damn, that man, his leg hurts. And
not only that, but then seeing that he has to sit for, like, I don't know how many hours in a makeup chair, like, that's got to be, like, at the very least 2 hours, probably more like 8, to sit in that chair to get, like, just suited up into a body. And oh my God, the poor, like, that is dedication. Like, he's amazing.
He does such a good job. And like, I thought for a moment when he was sitting across the coffee table from Alberto, I thought for a moment that, oh yeah, that's a neck piece. But then it just disappeared while he was talking.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of moments where I felt that, where I felt like his weight either fluctuated or looked a little fake. Like, there are small moments where it definitely stands out.
Yeah, but honestly,
it's still brilliant.
Weight makeup is hard. Age makeup is hard.
Yeah. So I think they do a brilliant job. But and watching Kristen Milioti and Colin Farrell just go head to head and just fight each other for control of for this crime family.
Yeah.
Is phenomenal television, man.
So they introduce a new drug, which is one of the reasons why I feel like he might be Brother Blood. Is because...
Why do you think Julian Rush
might be Brother Blood? And that's because these mushrooms that they get this drug from, they bleed this gel, and that's the drug. And it's
called Bliss.
They call it Bliss. That's what Oz calls it. I don't know what they called it at Arkham, but they were giving it to all of the patients. And it just...
Oz is like, I'm opening up... This is my joke, by the way. I'm opening up a business, and we're calling it Blissness. I'm sorry. All right.
Come on, Triads. Come on in. Get in the Blissness.
Get in the Blissness.
So they get the Triads involved. I think this is kind of before she takes control of the family, but that does eventually happen. But at this point, she knows that Oz killed Alberto, and she's gunning for him.
Yeah. It becomes like all out war between them, and Gotham suffers, and you're like, where the fuck's Batman? Who the fuck knows? I mean, Matt Reeves has put out an excuse, but I haven't read it. I'm sorry. Matt Reeves is the director of Batman. But no, it's just like, it's crazy. I think we should leave most of the, everything else like under wraps, because I think it's phenomenal television to watch.
I do too. Like, I mean, if we're just going to compare it to Agatha All Along, there is no comparison. Like, this movie far outweighs that one. This show.
Oh, it's so
it's so much better, and
does.
Disney has the same resources.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
The problem is Disney can't tell a story about a villain without trying to make them redeemable.
Yeah.
Whereas, as we talked about in the episode of Agatha All Along, there's one thing about the Penguin that you considered redeemable in that episode, but when you get to the last episode, it's no longer there.
It's not there. He ruins
We're not gonna spoil that, but yeah, he really just burns that bridge. And they spared nothing in the storytelling to remind you that no matter how much you, for the storytelling purposes, rooted for this character because it made for a very entertaining story, they needed you to remember this guy's a villain.
Yeah.
Like, he is despicable. Mm-hmm. He's got no morals. He cares for himself and only for himself.
Yeah.
And
which, honestly, it gave it this, it was just such a good meta layer to it, because throughout the show, he's constantly betraying people's trust. He gains the audience trust through Vic, and then what happens, and you're like, he betrayed me. He betrayed me.
Critics. We're critics. We've done it. We've peaked. That's a beautiful metaphor. I give it 4.5 stars. This is one of my favorite things I've watched. It doesn't get the perfect 5 out of 5 because of what happens in the end. As you said, I feel so betrayed that even though it's so good, it bothers me so much that I literally don't think I could watch this show again unless they do a season 2. Yeah. Who knows?
I really did enjoy it. I mean, I
really enjoyed it.
There's a lot of angles in a show like this. There's a lot of angles to rewatch it from. Like, he, like I said, knows how to spin things and keep things up in the air. And
that's very true.
Knowing what happens next is interesting at least for me, from a writer standpoint, because you can see what the writer was doing foreshadowing wise. That's very
fair. The Easter eggs that the implications
I missed a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah. There was one, I told you about this off mic, for the Batman 2. People have been speculating for the last 2 years now what that's gonna be like. Mm-hmm. Because Batman was very grounded, very gritty, very real. Are they gonna continue doing that, or are they gonna go for like a crazy like Mr. Freeze, where it's like, it's kind of real, like it could happen, but big ice slide in the air, who knows? Hopefully not, but hopefully, like, who knows? But there's one scene in The Penguin where they go into this courtroom and all of the curtains, I'm going to send it to you later on, as in I'm going to send it to the Faceless Leon. All of you listeners, you're on your own. Go Google it yourself, you freaks. But there's that scene where they go to the courtroom where all of the curtains are shaped like owls. They make the shape of an owl on the wall. And it's like, are they doing the Court of Owls for Batman 2? Because that would be amazing. That's what I was hoping it would be. If you remember going back to the Batman episode back in 2022, I speculated that they were going to do the Court of Owls, and then that they were going to do the War of the
And then there was a court with owls.
And then there was a court with owls! I'm right all the time. Thank you. My TED Talk. 4.5 stars out of 5.
That's pretty good. I want to say one big thing before I rate it, and that is, I have not finished a series and felt like it could have been written by William Shakespeare more than any other series. This series, I felt.
God damn!
I mean, it was such. It had such a tragedy arc to it. I mean,
it's very fair.
he has his tragic flaws that he betrays everyone, and including those he loves. And that's
and some of the actions that he commits and that Sophia commits are just, mind-boggling. Like how she takes over the family.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, but it was really good.
It was really good.
That part, like, and that's, I think, before we know the truth about the hangman thing. So you're like, oh, maybe she is.
Maybe she deserved to be an Arkham,
Yeah. But it's I think that she was great. Colin Farrell was great, and that's your two leads there. And then the supporting cast, was all great. Like the ensemble of the
Lindsay
Feliz
as Vic.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, he was great. Rinzi. I thought you said Lindsay.
Yeah. Sorry, it definitely does. It's a bit of a different name.
Yes, it is. But
for my tongue.
Yeah, but and also over the internets. Anyhow, he did a great job too, and just like I said, the whole supporting cast, they did a great job of being in the background and feeling real. And that's hard to do.
Squid. We forgot Squid.
We forgot.
God. Squid, bro.
You guys look out for Squid. You'll love Squid.
Look out for Squid. He's amazing, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of people we didn't talk about that I thought did a really good job. But it's a face and a half series for me. It's really good.
Yes. Definitely one of my top 5 of the year. Who knows? Definitely. It might even be. It's not number 1. I'm sorry. Doctor Who came out this year. Come on, I'm biased.
I would say that this for me beats Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a better show than Doctor Who.
But Doctor Who might be the second best of what I watched, and then third House of the Dragon. But I'll have to think about it. Every year we have done, so far at least, we have. Maybe we haven't done it every year, but most years we do a best and worst episode for New Year's, essentially. And so I'll definitely talk about House of the Dragon a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to foreshadow a little bit by saying that I haven't watched as many movies as I normally do per year. But my TV shows this year, you guys are going to be surprised to know that number's through the roof, okay? Last year it was like, I watched 7 shows. Like, double it, baby.
Double it, baby.
I've been doing my homework. Yeah, that's right. That's been the show, yeah?
That's been the show. I love your... Like, they don't know you're doing it, but they just keep on flipping their hair.
Well, I'm wearing my hair in a new style. It's parted in a different way, and that gives it's one of those like curtain bangs, and it keeps falling into my eye.
I see.
So I keep using it as part of my personality just to make jokes, but at the same time, it really is bothering my eye. I haven't gotten used to it yet.
It's great. I didn't see it until because I think we're both cutting off our foreheads. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. I like it.
Thanks. Appreciate it, yeah. As we make our own short film, I do the cinematography for it, and yet we can't make our own face cams good. We don't even try.
I mean, I'm just using my phone, and it's laying on its side because it needs the charge. And
yeah, same here. I didn't even charge my headphones, so I'm using cheap headphones that you have to plug into the phone, so it has to lay on its side.
Oh, God.
It's been Green Faceless on the couch. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels and good night. Get out of here. Kiss your kids.